Welcome to this episode. This week, the president, our dear president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was in Bayelsa. One interesting thing that happens is that the security agents were now dragging traffic. Who goes first? They were throwing punch and this.
What happened in Bayelsa about the military fighting with the police? Nigerian politicians, public office holders, and those who are in leadership positions, they like the chaos because that is where they make their money from. The unfortunate thing for them now is that because people have smart phones and cameras, they can easily record them and put it out on social media. My worry is that what was the army doing on the road? People don't keep money in houses again. They converted it into Bitcoin and Ethereum and all those. People are using drones now. We are still talking about body-worn camera. We are far behind.
In the UK here, they use facial recognition.
All my many years in the United Kingdom, I've never seen a soldier on the road.
SARS happened. It was one person's word against the other. It was the former governor of Lagos State became an investigative journalist. Use of this body-worn camera. Nigerian police didn't even need the judgment of the court to begin to implement this.
Why is it that it is the court that will tell police to do that? They always find a way to remove the thing that will hold them accountable. That act alone is supposed to have been spearheaded by the police as it is in their own interest. The Nigerian police and security is a symbol of disorder. The army, they were basically fighting with the police.
So Nigerians need to know this, who the police are working for. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, depending where you are joining us from today. And welcome to this episode of your podcast, my podcast, our podcast, which we call Glasscast Podcast. It will interest you to know that our discussions go far and wide, and we get responses about the insights that are gained from the analysis that we produce from this our studio. And we would encourage you, if you haven't done so yet, to continue to send in your suggestions, your comments, your feedbacks on every of the episode we've done. We've done very wonderful episodes on topics that matter. And we would encourage you to always be part of what we do here. And if you haven't told your friends and well-wishers, tell them about the good work we are doing from this studio to analyze topics that bring out the relevant results or experiences or perceptions to important issues. And on this note, from myself, the elder, the Mazi of Glasscast, and the entire Glasscast crew, we want to say welcome to this episode. Like I would always say, sit right back, get your glass of water, I do have mine here, and your popcorn or whatever that helps you to relax on a Saturday evening and enjoy this special episode. I know Elder would want to say one or two words before we start.
Hello to our fellow countrymen.
Yeah, our fellow Glasscasters.
Our fellow Glasscasters. And thank you so much for encouraging us. Thank you for engaging with us. Thank you for the comments, for the criticisms, for the likes, and so on. If not for you, we won't be here. Thank you. And also thank you for the suggestions. We've treated some of the topics you suggested. I will continue to treat them. I will encourage you, if there's anything you want us to talk about, more importantly, as we're going into election cycle this year, put that topic in the comment section and we'll pick that up from there. Whether it's ADC, leadership crisis, whether it's city boys, whether it's I know there's now city men or village boys, PDP, whatever it is, put it out there. We'll deal with it and bring experts who would do justice to it. So sit right back and enjoy yourself this evening.
So you've heard from the elder himself. Bring it on, and we would do our due diligence and provide the much required analysis that you always look out for. Mazi, what do you have to say about today?
Well, good evening, viewers. As always, Elder has said it all. So I will say welcome to Glasscast this evening.
Welcome to Glasscast this evening, and we want to, encourage you, our fellow Glasscasters, like we say, continue to be with us and continue to share your insight about what we do. Because Elder talked about electioneering period, I think in Nigeria, it has been an interesting period in Nigeria, and we'll be looking into events, developments, activities, and those interesting discussions that inform politics, policies, security, social welfare, and everything that matters to the human. This week, the president, our dear president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was in Bayelsa. And, it was colorful, nice speech, nice activities with a lot of security entourage, to the point that, there was, the security agents were now dragging traffic. Who goes first? Is it the Navy or the Army or the Air Force or the police? So, and one interesting thing that happens is that, while the uniformed men, I don't know if it is, graceful or disgraceful, uniformed men who are supposed to be exemplary of decorum, of things being organized. Because when we look at the soldiers, they are, they go, everything takes its right position and its right step. And while though they were throwing punch and this, one thing we noticed is that people have their cameras, phone cameras, even some security agents, some of them have their cameras and recording the event, and which made it possible for Nigerians to see that disgraceful activity from the law enforcement and security agents who were on the entourage of our dear Mr. President Tinubu. And that brings us to a topic that Mazi was addressing this week on the use of camera. Mazi made that point, and we have looked into it. Even following the NSAS, there has been this move and this call. Even the former Inspector General of Police have made that case for police to have body-worn cameras. But today, it doesn't look like Mazi would agree that position has been actualized. Mazi, what was the intent behind the recent, I would say, postulation from you about body-worn camera by Nigerian security agencies?
Yes, thank you very much. You know that in our societies, things move on. Things develop, technologies develop, and if you check very well, previously, the police and the army, there was a time they used to use bayonets. There was a time they use horses. Now they use tear gas. This thing they put in their by the side of their belts. They use cars. So, with the advent of technology, crime prevention as well developed. So when you go to court for the prosecution of crime, instead of coming there, you see the police, they will come and be recounting this happened or that happened, and maybe that crime might have, taken like 7 months, if not a year, to come to court. They just play the camera from the evidence that they have. And normally the system is that they normally wear cameras on their body. That's why it's normally called body-worn cameras. But the challenge that we have is that in Nigeria, just as you were recounting here about the chaos, you say that it's disgraceful that that's what the Nigerian police is supposed to be. Nigerian security officials are supposed to be an exemplary institution showing decorum. I don't think so. The reason I don't think so is because the Nigerian police and security is a symbol of disorder. If you look at exactly what happened, let me just digress a little bit. I saw that video. If you look at what happened, the army, they were basically fighting with the police. And as you say, the dragging who will go first and who will not go first. Now, the coordination that is supposed to be in that kind of environment, in that kind of arrangement where the head of state attended is supposed to be top notch, but it's not there. It was basically lacking. And that lack is what shows and runs through every department. In particular, with this body one video, as of 2021, I heard that I never lived in Lagos, even though that I do visit it. LASMA, is it called LASMA? Lagos State
Traffic Management Authority.
Exactly. I learned as of 2021 that they had this decision that their members, their officials will be wearing body worn cameras so that they will be getting on camera, on video, evidence of crimes that happen in case of any court process. So the brain behind wearing of cameras by the police is to show accountability, number one. It is to even protect the police. It is to catch crimes, because you might be here talking with someone and a crime will be happening there. Your eyes is not there, but it's catching it. So not only that it will protect the integrity of the police, but it will be accountable and even save the time of the court. But I don't know whether you want me to progress in this discussion. The problem that we have with the Nigerian police, just as we were discussing the other day about the election, that the Nigerian Senate decided to introduce the manual counting of votes instead of electronic transmission. They always find a way to remove the thing that will hold them accountable. That's what they always do. So the issue there, why is it that the Nigerian police will need the court? The Federal High Court in Warri had to issue a judgment making it clear that the Nigerian citizens have a constitutional right to video the police in the performance of their duties. Why is it that it is the court that will tell police to do that, when that act alone is supposed to have been spearheaded by the police, as it is in their own interest, both in terms of accountability, prestige, and the prevention of crime? Why?
If you want to look at why, because you mentioned 2021 when the Lagos State government, it wasn't actually only LASMA, but every security and public order agencies in Lagos were meant to use body worn camera, and that was as a result of the NSAS protest. Remember, in the year 2020, NSAS happened. It was one person's word against the other. It was the protesters' words against the police against the protesters against the army, who fired the bullet, who fired this, who did that. So I think the question started rising from there, even when the former governor of Lagos State became an investigative journalist or investigative agent. I'm talking of Fashola, who went to check if the CCTVs were actually on or they were turned off. So it became an issue. Even following that, the outcry, the call for the use of this body-worn camera has been there. Like you said, the Nigerian police didn't even need the judgment of the court to begin to implement this. But the question remains, when these things are just merely said and nothing happens, you begin to question, who is the police working for? Elder, what do you think?
Dr. Let me take a detour to your opening comment or remark. You talked about what happened in Bayelsa, about the military fighting with the police.
Yeah. The army against the navy, against...
So my worry is that what was the army doing on the road? Was there an external aggression? I'm trying to understand what they were doing on the road, and to also marry it with the role of the military in a given society. Because all my many years in the United Kingdom, I have never seen a soldier on the road.
Exactly.
I have not. I may be wrong.
Exactly. Even me myself.
No, I haven't.
I haven't.
Yeah.
In fact,
If you see the person is going home,
he's going home. I have not seen a military. We hear that they have bases, military bases, when they want to go and fight war. I have not seen a soldier on the road. Truth be told, the first and the last time I saw a police officer with gun was in December 2025. I was flying back to Nigeria at the airport, and that time the critical terror level alert level was raised critical.
2025.
2015, sorry. 2015.
Yes.
The critical alert terror
Security alert.
level was raised critical. That's the highest level. And that was the first time I saw them properly dressed with a bulletproof and gun. You saw them, you know that they were serious.
Yes.
That was the first and the last time.
In the United Kingdom.
In the United Kingdom, I saw police with a gun. I have never seen a police with a gun again. Now, we are talking about a military and the police, all of them armed to the teeth, fighting each other. We are lucky. If Cameroon had attacked us that moment, the military that was supposed to defend us,
on the streets.
we are on the streets fighting with the police. We are laughing over this, but it's not.
It's a serious matter.
It's a very serious matter. Unfortunately, that is where we are. We are the military people who are supposed to maintain law and order, protect us from external aggression, are now fighting within themselves. Apparently, they may be fighting for something. It may not be who has the right of way. Maybe they may be fighting for something that we are not aware of. Maybe some may have collected monument for the others. Because whenever you see a fight in Nigeria, it's always about money. So that's the unfortunate situation. Then the police, who are they working for? The police is supposed to protect, maintain law and order, protect lives and property,
yeah.
and make sure that laws are implemented, deal with crimes, prosecute crimes, so on and so on. But unfortunately, what we see is police working for themselves. Sometimes you see these policemen dressed like kidnappers, dressed like unknown gunmen. We are going far to wearing body cameras. First of all, they should dress properly in the first place. Each time you see a police officer on the streets here in the United Kingdom, you will not be in any doubt as to whether this man or woman is a police officer or not.
Exactly.
He will be properly dressed with the name. You can call him. The other day, I was, I think it was so many years ago, I was going to Edinburgh. I didn't know how to find my platform in a train station. I walked up to the policeman, looked at his name, called his name, said, "Please, can you help me? I'm going for the platform this." He directed me because he was properly dressed. I could read his name from the name tag.
Exactly.
And that is how it is. So we should first of all do the basic things. Let them dress properly first. Wear the correct uniform. Wear the correct body tag. Not sometimes you see them wear these slippers we call palm in Nigeria. A police officer on duty. They wouldn't dress well. They wear, some of them wear burial clothes. You know, these vests that people say, adieu, papa. Adieu, papa, at the back. And that's what they'll be using to
farewell.
Farewell. It's really, really disheartening and unfortunate that our police force is not professional in terms of their dressing, in terms of their behavior. Then moving to the body worn camera issue we are talking about. You rightly mentioned that things progress, technology develop, crime prevention has also gone top notch. The way you used to prevent or fight crime before wouldn't be the same way you fight now, because if you still rely in the archaic method that you are using, you probably not catch any criminal before. Financial fraud has moved from when people carry money in banks. It's moved from electronic transfer to even cryptocurrency and digital currency now. So if you are still using money, I was telling my wife the other day that many years ago, when Buhari became the first military head of state, he changed Nigerian currency, changed the color, because people, it was alleged that people stored money in their houses, in tanks and all those kind of things. Change it so that people will lose that value of that money. Then many years down the line, when he became the president in 2015 up until 2023, he thought that same policy will work again. That was how they started changing this, the color of the currency, changing it from green to blue, taking it, they will work. People don't keep money in houses again.
Okay.
They converted it into Bitcoin and Ethereum and all those kind of things. So we still believe that what worked 10 years ago will work now, where people have moved on. People are using drones now. We are still talking about body-worn camera. Many countries, go to Dubai, they use drone to detect crimes and call these things out, but we are far behind.
Is it because when you are talking about drone, even in developed countries, in the UK here, they use a facial recognition cameras now.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, they use all those things. But it looks like, because in one of our episodes we discussed police brutality in Nigeria, and among everything that I've seen change in Nigeria, the statistics are still out there that police brutality has not declined. It has not changed. Could it be a reason why police is shying away from the use of this body?
It's not only police brutality. Every statistic in the wrong direction has gone up in Nigeria. Corruption, poor quality of education, healthcare, infrastructure, terrorism, everything, every index in there that is taking a downward spiral has gone down. So that police brutality is in addition to all the things going wrong in Nigeria. Everything is wrong, and we are not making any effort to improve on anything. So it will keep going now. And Nigerian politicians, public office holders, and those who are in leadership positions, they like the chaos because that is where they make their money from. That is where they thrive. They don't want these things. They don't want things that will implicate them. Because if you want them to do the right things, to do things in the way it should be done, there will be cuts. It comes to the issue of accountability. So nobody wants to be accountable. We want to thrive in the chaos. We want to thrive in the fact that. But the unfortunate thing for them now is that because people have smart phones and cameras, they can easily record them and put it out on social media and so on. But otherwise, that's what they want to do. That's how they want to continue, so that they can catch you, take away your belongings, brutalize you, and nobody will catch them and nobody will hear about it.
Because Elder, I want to keep to your position here, because you made mention of people recording the activities of the police. We seldomly see where those recordings have been used to prosecute these police officers, to hold them accountable. We have seen, people record where police are, hitting people with the head of their guns, their ammunition. We've seen where police brutalize people. People record them. We've seen where people record police taking bribe in Nigeria. But what my research hasn't shown me yet is where those evidence from those people, records from the smartphones have been used to prosecute these police officers for illegal activity.
I will tell you why. Now, when you see a normal police officer standing on the road, let me take the southeast, for instance, southeast of Nigeria, where I come from. Police set up roadblocks. And the purpose of setting those roadblocks is not necessarily for the prevention of crime, because it is on record. We all know that when all those armed robbers attack the police, they run away from those roadblocks. But they set up those roadblocks in order to extort money from commuters. Now, when you see a police officer wearing body-worn camera, do you think that that police officer, knowing that he is being recorded, he or she is being recorded, will extort money from you, will ask you to give him money? No, they will not do that. Because if they do it, that will be evidence that will be used against them. Now, for every roadblock that is set up, there is always an officer in charge who is in one batcher waiting. So the person that is standing on the road will collect the money. the person that is in that batcher, who is your guy, that person will tell you to go and meet, has a share. And that share goes as far as the commissioner of police. The question that you ask is that why is it that this thing is not being used to hold them accountable? Now, the body that is responsible for holding them accountable is the CRU.
Okay.
Complaints response unit, I think so. So let us look at the structure of that body. When you see a police officer committing crime, and then for you to hold that police officer accountable, for instance, a police officer kills somebody, the police officer will be taken to court. Now you have the prosecutors, you have the defense, you have the judge. These people are independent of each other. But when a police officer has been indicted for misconduct, taking bribes, maltreating people, unleashing violence on Nigerians, and then the people you want to take them, to hold them accountable, is the CRU. In the CRU, the head of the CRU is Inspector General of Police. When you come down, is his assistant, and then he comes down to the commissioner. How do you think that the commissioner of police, the IG of police, will come and be disgracing, in quotes, his officers who are committing crime by collecting a bribe for which he has a share?
No,
He's not going to do it.
so don't call it share, they call it returns.
He's not going to do
They call
it.
it returns.
Yes. So his returns will be prejudiced. That is the reason that you will never see them use those videos. The only videos that they use are those ones that the whole community, the whole social media has started to
The ones that have
present
gone
because they have gone viral.
The ones that have gone viral.
That's the one that they use.
Supporting what you said, I listened to one pastor the other time. He said, he posed this hypothetical question, that in a room where you have 20 armed robbers and they want to elect their leader, who do you think they will elect? Do you think that they will go outside to go and elect somebody to come and be their leader, or they elect one
From
out
within themselves.
From within themselves.
So it looks like the Nigerian police through the CRU, they are marking their own results.
They are marking their own- they are
And
marking their
awarding
own
themselves marks.
marks.
And you know, let me digress a little bit, because we are talking about these roadblocks, and every Nigerian knows what happens at the roadblocks.
Exactly.
Every roadblocks, be it police roadblocks, be it military army roadblocks, be it navy roadblocks, be it civil defense roadblocks, be it LASMA roadblocks, all the VIO roadblocks, every Nigerian knows what happens at these roadblocks. In terms of returns, I want to draw from the analysis you said. The person on the road takes this money and gives it to the person at the batcher. And if you, I believe our viewers are, conversant with this. If you see where the way they take the money, remember they don't take the money in the normal form. The money is squeezed. They squeeze this money and pass it to their boss. And today, people, celebrities, people in Nigeria are being prosecuted for defacing the naira.
Exactly.
For mismanaging the naira. But EFCC have not.
Nobody need money to arrest the police for the technique they use.
Yeah, because they are defacing the naira. It sounds funny today, but people spend money. They
And you arrest them.
They didn't squeeze it. They didn't fold it. They didn't mishandle the money. But the EFCC arrest them for doing such. But the police, all these people at the checkpoint that squeeze the naira, you see how they squeeze the naira, and nobody does anything. Maybe the EFCC also have questions to answer to this regards.
You see, when we talk about all these things, when the head is bad, everything is bad. You remember the prosecutorial power primarily resides with the police. I'm
Yes.
correct? Attorney General can decide to grant nulla prosecute.
Yeah.
I'm not prosecuting again. Private individuals don't have that prosecutorial power except they get
Unless they
the
get the fiat from the
fiat
Attorney General.
from the Attorney General. So it's a case of police prosecuting police.
Exactly.
How is that going to happen?
It's not.
In a society where there is no accountability, where there is no leadership, where the interest is for their pockets. So we're not going to see that prosecution anytime soon. Even when private individuals go to the police to report crime. It was the other episode you talked about your sister who had a case and went to police. Police told her that she has to go to court. And eventually police did not take that case to court because she did not give them money. A lot of cases that you see the police is prosecuting is because the victims of those crimes are pushing and funding it.
And they may have paid money to the police.
That's the funding I'm talking about. Fueling police car to come to the station to bring the matter up, whatever is going to take financially. So, and I don't think anybody is interested in a crime that is perpetrated against the entire Nigeria to fund the prosecution, because that checkpoint, if they set a checkpoint in my community now, that crime is perpetrated against every road user on that street. And for people who say, you know what, I don't have this time, take whatever you want to take and go home. So they don't have that time and the resources to go and fund a crime that affects the whole Nigeria. So it is a case of they are now let's go and they continue in their trade day in, day out. Nobody has the time to prosecute who is supposed to be prosecuting. I mean, if you're going to prosecute somebody who ought to prosecute what you want to prosecute, if I'm correct, or if I
it's a question of basically of the police setting up a structure where the same police is supposed to hold the same police to accountable. Who will get the gas? You have to get an external body involved in order that police actually would be held accountable. If you don't do it, we are just wasting our time.
Well, if we don't do it, we are just wasting our time. Our dear President Tinubu have, in recent days or weeks or months, talked about reforming the Nigerian police to make it very effective. And I hope that in that process of reforming the Nigerian police, this issue of body-worn camera will be duly addressed, because imagine where those police are required by law to wear this camera and somebody is taking those people call it a guje on the road. Imagine how it will look on the camera and how it will look on the image of the Nigerian police. So I think all this should be looked into. Even the issue of the body-worn camera, I don't think it should be something of if. No, it should be a question of how.
See, the thing is that this issue, I am surprised that we got to this point where court had to make an order for this to be implemented. And unfortunately, that court order will be obeyed more in disobedience than in compliance.
I agree with you entirely.
Because the court has made the order. In fact, when we are doing some basic law courses, they told us it's not good for a court to make an order that cannot be obeyed. So now the court has made this order, this body camera needs to be worn. This should be an executive policy as forming part of crime prevention, not coming from a court order. This should be part of the things government should lay out. Okay, we want to put an end to crime. We want to stop crime. We want to catch criminals. We want to, when we are prosecuting a crime, we have evidence properly documented that can easily get us prosecution or set somebody who is innocent free. So, and they start implementing it. Now, the court has given this order. It's not in their budget. They are not wanting to do effective policing. So what they are going to do is they're not going to do anything, and you're not going to cite anybody for contempt. It's just an order that has made against the government.
You know that the police is not going to obey.
They're not going to obey it.
They're not going to obey it. But the thing in that judgment that I like very much is the establishment of the angle that is the constitutional right of every citizen to video police, and for the police not to get involved in that process. In other words, the police are not supposed to seize your phone if you are videoing them. So now, unlike previously, you see a police officer, you are aware that he's committing a crime by taking a bribe, and you are videoing him or her. The police will deal with you. Even if the fear of what will happen to you, should you continue that, and or should the police see you doing that, will even make you not to try to do it. But the court has said that it is the right of the citizen to video the police, and you are constitutionally protected to video it in the performance of their duties. But do you think that the police officer will allow you to video him when he's committing a crime? No.
Even when he's not committing a crime, you know, somebody like Showore had his camera eyeglasses, you know, removed, and it got lost. Even Showore was not committing a crime. Showore was protesting, you know, police accountability. And police didn't like it. They even, you know, so by knowing that you are even recording them, you are in Nigeria, you are putting yourself at risk. And I know Elder wants to say something.
Yeah, I agree with you whole and entire that the police is not going to obey that, because that is not the only court has made that declaration that is a constitutionally protected right. But there are other constitutional rights
that they don't obey.
They don't obey. Right to the dignity of a human person. Exactly. Right not to be tortured. Exactly. Right to fail here.
Exactly.
Lots of them.
Lots of them
in the constitution. We they don't obey. And is this one that the courts are?
How will they obey this one that will take away money from their pocket?
So we should start to, first of all, to recognizing the right to dignity of human person.
Exactly.
First, before going into allowing you to, before you even bring out that your camera, they would have not what they used to, what they know best how to do.
Your people will be looking for the police station that you were locked into, and you know, police can also say the police can also quote Section 37 of the Nigerian Constitution on the right and privacy of Nigerian citizens, you know, being recorded in that manner if they want to protect themselves. But when I was studying the Lagos State plan on this body-worn camera, you know, the implementation has always been almost zero. But one thing I noticed in the report that I studied showed that these body-worn cameras are currently in use in the elite unit that provide protection to VIPs, the governors, the big personalities. That is what I saw in the report that when I was analyzing some of these activities in this area. And it brings to question, why are they using body-worn camera in the elite unit, in the VIP unit, when crime are not being committed in those areas?
And the answer is that the police is working for the elite and for the politicians.
Exactly. I think that's the best simple answer.
So they are not working for the masses. They are working for the elites, the politicians, and the owners of Nigeria. So that's why they are using it there.
So Nigerians need to know this, who the police are working for. And while you are protesting for the ADC leadership, while you are protesting for electronic transmission of voting, I think it is also important because police forms a critical part of Nigerian electionary system. So it should be a good thing. Like Mazi said, Nigeria has been making a lot of money in the sale of their crude oil in the past 8 to 10 weeks. So there is oil windfall. There is a lot of fund out there. Nigerians should be asking for this fund be used to purchase the gadgets and the infrastructure that would enable the implementation of these body-worn cameras, especially during this upcoming election, which would ensure accountability in the system and in the process of electing our leaders.
Let me correct you. Nigeria has been selling oil for the past 50 years. not 10 weeks. I know you are talking about the increased oil price.
The increase in
because
oil
of
price,
the
yeah.
war in Iran now. But Nigeria has been selling oil for more than 50 years.
Yeah, you're right.
So, yeah.
So it should have been done before now.
It should have been. They should have had more money to do it before now. So they are not going to do it because there is a war in Iran which has ended. And they will tell you they didn't make enough money within that period.
Well, the decision is, in the hands of Nigerians. When you are going out to protest something, you need to know exactly what you are protesting for.
My concluding remark is this. For there to be a change in Nigeria in this policing, there has to be a fundamental and total overhaul of the political system, political structure, leadership and governance in Nigeria. Because this thing we are talking about is just one tiny bit of what is wrong in Nigeria. And you cannot correct that tiny bit without correcting the structure. The foundation is faulty. You cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. So there need to be a fundamental shift in our culture, fundamental shift in our political system, fundamental shift in our governance, and fundamental shift in our leadership for this change to come. Otherwise, we are wasting our time. The Supreme Court can as well make an order that every police officer must wear 2 body cameras front and back. They're not going to obey it.
I believe, Mazi, do you want to agree with Elder here? Or you want?
Yes, I agree.
You have an opposite.
Yes, I agree totally. And the constitutional structure, which we've always talked about, the police cannot be a policeman cannot be from Borno State and you send him to Imo State where he doesn't know anything there. So police is local and it must remain local.
So you've had it. Security is a local issue. Crime is local. Police must also be local. So I think one of the things that have been said here is the over-centralization of policing system in Nigeria has not been or has not worked in the interest of Nigerians. We would revisit this topic about Nigerian police because Nigerian police, it's not all aspects of Nigerian police that is going wrong. Nigerian police have also been doing good jobs. So maybe we would dedicate an episode to talk about the good things that the Nigerian police have been doing. Why we bring out this critical analysis so that lessons will be learned and adjustments could be made so that Nigerians would enjoy that level of security